The night settled over 1890s London with a softness that felt almost magical. A cool hush drifted through the streets as a thick grey fog rolled in, wrapping the city in a gentle, muffled embrace. Roofs, chimneys, and narrow windows blurred into soft shapes, as though the entire world had been painted with a slow, dreamy brush. The usual edges and corners of the city no longer seemed sharp or busy. Instead, they faded into a peaceful stillness that encouraged the mind to breathe a little slower. The fog didn't just hover in the air, it seemed to rest upon the city like a protective blanket, calming anything it touched. You stepped outside and felt the mist collect lightly on your coat, cool against your skin but soothing, almost tender in the way it clung to the night. The quietness was comforting, not empty or eerie, but gentle, like a lullaby whispered across rooftops. Every sound that might normally startle the senses softened into something calm and distant. Far off footsteps seemed miles away, carriage wheels grew hushed, and even the wind moved with care, brushing past you in a slow, thoughtful breeze. There was a peaceful weight to the atmosphere, a kind of serene stillness that made each breath feel deeper and more restful. As you walked further into the street, it became easy to imagine the fog as something alive, not frightening or strange, but kind, like an old friend who arrived every now and then to help the city quiet its thoughts. It settled into every corner and doorway, smoothing out the hurried rush that usually filled London's nights. Everything felt balanced, gentle, and perfectly unhurried. In that soft grey world, you felt as though nothing demanded your attention. The night simply wanted you to walk slowly, listen carefully, and feel the calm wrap around your heart as quietly as the fog wrapped around the city. The quiet streets of London glimmered softly beneath the gentle glow of lanterns that lined the roads like patient guardians of the night. Each lamp post stood tall and steady, its small flame flickering behind a glass shield that blurred the light into a warm, golden haze through the fog. These lanterns shimmered as though they were tiny stars pulled down from the sky and placed along the pathways to keep the darkness from feeling lonely. Their glow drifted outward in soft, circular halos, spreading comfort wherever the mist allowed it to reach. As you walked beneath them, the lanterns cast a tender light over the pavement, reflecting faintly on the wet stone. The gentle shine made the ground appear almost silver, like a path woven from moonlight. Each pool of light you entered felt like a small moment of warmth waiting just for you, inviting you to slow down, breathe deeply, and simply exist in the stillness of the night. The air around each lantern held a quiet hum of peace, as if the city itself was sighing softly beneath their delicate glow. The fog drifted through the beams of light, swirling lazily as it passed, turning each lantern into a floating, glowing orb. From a distance, the lamps looked like scattered constellations, guiding wanderers through the calm night. And as you continued walking, the lights followed one after another, appearing and fading gently, as if performing a slow, thoughtful dance. The cool mist softened every edge of their shine, making the entire street feel like a dream, where the stars had come down to walk beside you. In that night softened by fog and golden halos, the lanterns did more than illuminate the road. They comforted the quiet. They warmed the darkness. They made the city feel alive in a gentle, reassuring way, glowing softly like little stars that wished only to guide you peacefully along your path. The night's quiet deepened as your steps carried you farther along the misty street, and soon the soft rhythm of your own footsteps became the most comforting sound around you. Each time your boot touched the wet pavement, it created a gentle tap that echoed lightly through the fog, never loud or sharp, but calm, as though the ground itself was whispering back to you. The stones glistened beneath the faint lantern glow, their damp surfaces shining like thin layers of silver washed over them by an unseen hand. You noticed how your steps felt different in the fog, slower and more thoughtful. The city's usual clatter had faded, allowing the quiet music of your movement to rise softly into the air. The pavement responded with a muted, steady rhythm that matched the peaceful pace of the night. It was almost as if the road had been waiting for someone to walk upon it gently, without hurry, and now welcomed you with whispers that carried a sense of calm. The sound drifted around you in soft echoes, weaving through the mist like a lullaby known only to the quiet streets. Every few steps, the slight splash of water in shallow puddles added its own tender note, blending seamlessly with the gentle tapping of your boots. The cool night air carried the faint scent of rain, wrapping the moment in a soothing stillness that seemed to slow your thoughts and steady your breathing. Even the distant buildings felt quieter, as if leaning in to listen to the soft conversation between your feet and the ground. With each calm step you took, the pavement's whispers created a kind of peaceful companionship. The night felt gentle, thoughtful, and unhurried, and the simple sound of walking became something comforting, a steady reminder that the world didn't need to be loud to feel alive. In the soft echoes beneath your feet, there was a quiet warmth that stayed with you, filling the misty air with a sense of calm that seemed to stretch endlessly through the sleeping city. London, usually filled with movement and sound, felt strangely still beneath the soft cover of the fog. As you walked deeper into the quiet streets, it became clear that the night had placed the entire city under a gentle spell. The usual rhythm of life, the distant rumble of carriage wheels, the chatter of late night wanderers, the clink of shopkeepers closing their doors, had faded into a silence so complete that it seemed as if time itself had taken a long, peaceful breath. The streets, normally crowded and alive, rested in perfect stillness, as though they were dreaming. The shops stood quietly in their rows, their windows dim and their signs barely visible through the mist. Wooden doors were shut tight, and the familiar storefronts appeared softened and distant, as if wrapped in a hush that reached into every corner. Houses with warm lights behind their curtains seemed to glow more gently than usual, their yellow flicker blurred by the fog into a soft haze. Every building felt respectful of the silence, as if the whole city had agreed to move slowly and whisper if it needed to speak at all. You wandered past stone steps, narrow alleys, and old lampposts that looked like frozen silhouettes in the grey air. Even the river, often lively with splashes and murmurs, flowed quietly beneath its own blanket of mist. The calm wrapped itself so deeply around everything that it felt like walking through a moment suspended outside the usual ticking of clocks. Nothing pressed forward, nothing hurried. Everything simply existed in peaceful stillness as you continued. The soft quietness felt almost comforting, like a warm presence rather than an empty one. The city didn't appear abandoned or forgotten. It felt thoughtfully paused, as if it wished to share a rare moment of rest with anyone gentle enough to notice. In that unhurried silence, London seemed to breathe softly around you, steady and serene, creating a calm space where time moved only as slowly as your own quiet steps. The fog drifted gently through the quiet streets, carrying with it the soft touch of old memories that stirred without ever feeling heavy. As you walked along the familiar path, the mist seemed to open small windows into moments you had lived before, each one appearing quietly, like a visitor tapping politely on the edge of your thoughts. Nothing rushed forward. Every memory rose slowly, wrapped in the same gentle softness that covered the city. You passed a small bakery with its windows faintly fogged from the warmth inside. Though the doors were closed for the night, a subtle hint of fresh bread lingered in the air, soft and comforting. It reminded you of cold mornings when you once stood there waiting, hands tucked into your sleeves, watching the baker arrange warm loaves in neat rows. The memory drifted in with a peaceful warmth, settling in your heart like a quiet smile. Farther down the street, the outline of an old bookstore appeared through the grey veil. Its wooden sign, barely readable in the mist, brought back the gentle stillness of afternoons, spent between tall shelves, where stories rested like sleeping companions. You could almost feel the crisp pages beneath your fingertips, and hear the faint rustle of books being opened somewhere deep inside. The memory felt close yet distant, softened by time, but still warm in its familiarity. As you continued on, even ordinary corners and cobblestones seemed to hold echoes of days gone by, a conversation once shared, a brief moment of laughter, a quiet pause beneath a lamppost. None of these recollections demanded attention, they simply floated beside you, offering a gentle companionship. The fog cradled them tenderly, as though it understood the delicate way memories should return, soft, slow, and comforting. In the peaceful drift of the night, these moments wrapped around you like a warm shawl. The memories did not pull you backward, nor did they weigh on your steps. They simply reminded you of the quiet beauty woven into your own past, appearing like soft lights that flickered gently within the mist, warming the calm around you. The deeper you wandered into the quiet night, the more the world seemed to settle around you, as though everything had aligned itself into a single, peaceful breath. The fog drifted slowly across the street, moving with the gentle patience of a quiet river, and each soft swirl made the night feel even more soothing. Eventually, your steps brought you to a small bridge where the mist lay thickest, hovering above the water like a silvery blanket that refused to be disturbed. The river flowed beneath it with a calm so steady it felt almost like a whispered lullaby. You rested your hands on the cool railing, feeling the smooth metal press softly against your palms. The faint glow from nearby lanterns shimmered across the mist, turning the bridge into a quiet island suspended between sky and water. The air was cool but not biting. It wrapped around you gently, settling into your chest with a soothing stillness. It felt as though the night wanted nothing from you except your presence, a quiet invitation to simply stand, breathe, and exist without concern. The river moved slowly, its surface barely rippling under the weight of the fog. The calmness of the water seemed to mirror something inside you, softening thoughts you didn't realize had been crowded or restless. For a long moment, you let everything fall into a quiet rhythm. The distant hush of water, the soft whisper of fog brushing past, the steady cadence of your breath. It was a stillness that didn't feel empty. It felt whole, gentle, and deeply comforting. As you stood there, the night wrapped around you in peaceful silence. In that space, untouched by urgency or noise, your mind felt as though it were floating with the mist itself. The calmness settled deep within you, filling the moment with a quiet warmth. And there, on the softly veiled bridge, it felt as though the world had paused just long enough for your heart to rest in perfect, unbroken peace. The night's fog continued to drift gently along the quiet streets as you began your walk back, its soft veil folding around you like a familiar cloak. Each breath you took felt slow and unhurried, touched by the cool mist that floated in the air. The lantern lights glimmered faintly through the grey, guiding your steps with warm, golden hollows that appeared and softened again as you moved past them. Their glow felt comforting, like small beacons, quietly welcoming you along your peaceful journey home. The pavement beneath your feet whispered with the same gentle rhythm it had carried all night, adding a soft, steady cadence to the calm that surrounded you. The scent of damp stone and distant chimney smoke lingered in the air, creating a quiet blend of warmth and coolness that settled deep within your senses. Every corner you passed held a gentle stillness, as though the city had decided to rest at last, giving you the rare gift of a world moving at the same slow pace as your thoughts. Your footsteps carried you through familiar streets that felt softened by the haze, each one shaped into a gentler version of itself beneath the fog's careful touch. Windows glowed faintly behind curtains, their soft light blurring into the mist like tiny resting embers. The calmness of the night followed you faithfully, never rushing, never pressing, only embracing the path you walked with quiet patience. When your home finally came into view, its edges blurred by the grey air, it seemed to rise from the mist like a warm memory made real. The door, steady and familiar, waited in peaceful silence. As you reached for the handle, the quiet of the night settled tenderly around your shoulders, as if the fog wished to give you one last comforting embrace before letting you step inside. And when you crossed the threshold, the calm of the misty city lingered gently in your heart, a soft reminder of a night wrapped in stillness, where every step carried you deeper into a quiet, soothing peace.